VPS stands for Virtual Private Server. It's nothing but remote. It's nothing but a server that runs 24 hours and is always accessible. It doesn't. It's not like your machine. I mean, your own machine could be a VPS in a way, but then you'd have to leave your PC on all the time. So basically, in SEO, people use VPSs to run tools because of the high bandwidth that they have. So you you rent out these VPSs, and what happens is there's a single box, right? And what happens is the service provider, the person selling the VPS hosting, he partitions the server into different areas, and it runs the same software. The same operating system, but it partitions you out. So you have your own area where you log in, and then you can see the server, right? You have complete control of that area of that server. That box is the amount of resources allocated to you for that box belongs to you entirely, and you can do what you want with it. So you get really high bandwidth. You don't have to pay any electricity costs. You can upload your anything you want onto that server. Basically, you use remote desktop control, RDC, in Windows to connect to that box. You can upload all your tools on that, and you can run these tools at high speeds, or you can run them like 24 hours without having to install them on your local machine and run it on your local machine. So they're very, very handy, especially to run tools and to do, repetitive tasks at elongated time frames. So if you wanted to say you wanted to crawl a particular site and your local connection was slow, or you didn't want to leave your machine on for 5 days, which is the time you estimate the entire site crawl would take, the database crawl, if you were going out and just scraping data from another site. So you set up a VPS, you upload your software, in this case a Visual Web Ripper or Web Harvey, you upload it onto the remote server, you input all your proxies, you configure your proxies properly, and then you run the crawl, right? And then you can shut down your connection to the remote server, and that remote server is still running. Just because you shut your connection to that server doesn't mean the software stops working, or that web server stops running, or any command that you give it stops functioning, or any software that you're running stops running. That server is on 24 hours, and that software that you're running runs, and then you can come in and check anytime and grab the files. And then you can also install Dropbox and things like that. So you can then sync that Dropbox version to your Dropbox, that Dropbox account, to your account, to your Dropbox account, and then all the files get synced automatically. So VPS is used really heavily in the world of digital marketing and in SEO. And these servers come, the costs vary. You can get one for as little as $10 or $15 to as just the starting versions, to as much as $50, $100, $200 a month. It all depends on how much throughput you want, how much disk space you want, and things like that, how much RAM you want. So there's just basically 4 or 5 different hardware configurations that you need to look into. You can get these. I would suggest, if you're most probably going to be looking at a Windows VPS, and that could have Windows 2008 server, or you could have Windows version 2012 RT server. So it depends on what your needs are. Both of them would work. I suggest you look at Hostwinds. They're a popular provider, and then there's HostMS. So a couple of good providers out there. There's Hostwinds, and then there's another one, HostMS, and then there's a ton of other ones out there. You can go to Black Hat World and find some good VPS providers. Just make sure you read the reviews, and make sure they're giving you you get good reviews, and they're not just toasted servers, which they promise you a particular configuration, and then it's just not balanced properly and things like that. So there's a ton of VPS Windows VPSs out there that you can find.